That was multiple weeks, so many hours condensed into 4 seconds. But I have been working very hard. And this is just the beginning. This is the base, the foundation on which so much is hopefully going to be built on. But as you can see, we have a bit of a mountain. I was right about this part. It still doesn't look right, but I think if I make this section a little less flat, make it blend in over here, that will help it a bit. But we also always have the opportunity to just cut away some of that. But yeah, I made a cliff, and we got a little cave up here. I decided this as I was doing it that this would look kind of cool. See if I can get up there. I do have a shovel. But yeah, this has been a lot of work. So many stacks of dirt. So many. I think 4 or 5 double chests worth of dirt went into this. But yeah, this is the cave. I'm gonna do something special with it, make it look good and interesting. But for now, I just decided how big it was gonna be. It might go deeper, especially since this is so flat. But that's that. And like I said, that is just the foundation. That is just the beginning. I have spent more hours collecting a bunch of resources to build on this foundation. We have a bunch of wood. This is from when I cleared out this section of the forest, and this is all the oak, and this is the jungle. We got a little bit of oak, but I want a lot more. I want the variety in there. I don't just want this type of wood. And we got oak leaves. In this version of the game, they don't have a distinct name. Here's the jungle leaves. They're just all called leaves, but they do look distinct. And real quick, I want to do a test. Whoops. I'll do both types of wood, but I see no reason why it will work differently for each. If I were to... Let's do it over here. If I were to set you alone, do you decay? Since I've picked it up off the ground myself, will you decay? And if so, how long is it going to take? And how far away does it need to be from wood to not decay? So if this does decay on its own, how far from wood does it have to be to not decay? So I'll let that sit in the background while I do other things. I'm guessing if it does decay, it's going to take no more than 5 minutes or so, but we'll see. So yeah, I got a bunch of wood from when I deforested this area, and the leaves got a bunch of greenery as well. We have a bunch of gravel and some cobblestone. I can always get more cobblestone. Some more dirt that I ended up not using, but I gathered. And some stone. That dirt I haven't made anything at the top of the cliff. It's just a cliff that ends. And so there needs to be land at the top of that. And that's where that dirt will come in. I'll show you what I mean. It's very easy. This is also a empty space here. So there's nothing here. Eventually, I'm gonna make this whole thing wrap around eventually. But for now, it's not gonna be a thing. But at some point in the future, it will be. But yeah, so it just ends. I want to have some land out over there. But right now, it just ends. But the first thing we're going to focus on today is the river that's going to come in. I'm going to need some iron because I want a better shovel. But this is where the river is going to start. I'm just going to give it an idea of what we're going for. This doesn't need to be super nice. And the question is, where does the river go? It probably follows a path here. And If I want to actually do something with it, I could just connect it to that water, or I could just end it. So what I'll probably do is have the river come out this way and slightly zigzag. And we don't want it to be a straight line because rivers are rarely perfectly straight. So give it a little zigzaggy, and it's going to come out to over there. So come along here, come around, curving this way, and let out here, right around where the cactus is. So it will be around here. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. I feel like it's the relatively easiest. But for the moment, we're going to dig out this area to make room for a river. So this is about the vibe I'm going for. We're getting the waterfall coming down right here, and it's going to sort of slowly funnel into an area. And right here, I might try to play with putting some glass down or some white wool, make it look like there's some rapids as it gets tighter and tighter, and then it lets out into the other connected water. And that's the general idea. I really like it. I played with putting some gravel and some cobblestone mixed in with it. So we got some texture all around. And everywhere I can, I'm going to put some dirt. Because most places I can't really. Because it's connected to the sides where grass is growing. So even if I put dirt here, it's always going to turn into grass. Although maybe when it's put underwater, it won't. That might be a mechanic. I'm not sure if it is or isn't. But yeah, so from the ground, you can see this is the idea. We have a few little purposeful dips just to give it that little bit of depth, and it flows right into here. And now we're going to fill it with water. And this is going to be fun. Alright, here's a filled river. We've got a filled river. We see where the waterfall will hit. And it comes in and floods through here. And ultimately, getting a little lag. Ultimately, it goes down a few levels until it makes it into the wider water range. I don't know what you would call this. It's a lake, I guess, that other rivers have flown into. I don't know. I'm not trying to be logical with that, because that was already pre-generated stuff, which is rarely ever logical. Now I have to figure out how I am going to do this waterfall. This is going to be interesting. Very interesting. Oh, this cloud. This cloud is annoying. Oh, there's another one right here. Of course there is. And there we go. I've been at the top and put down some water. I don't know what this is going to look like, but we're just messing around, seeing what comes out of it. And I'm also... So I've just put down this one line. Wow, big spike of lag. I've just put down this one line right here. And now for a bit, I'm going to experiment. For example, I want this one to push that way as well as this way. And ideally, I wanted it to go down that way. Yes. That was super dangerous and risky. So now we have a little bit more life and texture to it. It actually looks kind of great. And some of it spills over to here as wanted. I think we push that further. Can I click? It's something like that, but I'm not sure. I have to look at that. I need to look at that from the bottom to decide if that's actually good. But now I have a pretty easy way to get to the bottom. So let's see. What does this look like? not bad. Definitely like that this has layers. There needs to be more water on that side. Also, the leaf experiment, these have been here easily. I don't even know how long. The entire time I've been making this river, it's been a while. So they are probably not decaying. And that's good news. It means I can experiment and use them throughout the mountain to add a little bit more to it than just dirt. Oh. So we're going to add some more to that right side. I think maybe put like a tiny lake on it. That could be cool to look at. So I'm thinking I level a little bit of this. Something like this ish. With water flowing here. So it's as if the water came down, flew into here, flows into this little basin, and also out that way. I think that will look kind of good. That looks pretty decent. I do just need, like I said, a little water to fall off this side. Because it looks kind of weird water falling here and just ending here. I need some coming down. But that's easy enough to do. Let's just get some water buckets and get up there. So, yeah, that's what I'm like. I just now need to figure out how it's gonna flow into there naturally. There's our waterfall, straight down into a river, which leads back into this lake. Or maybe this is considered a river that goes out into the ocean. I don't know how that works. That's it. That's pretty good. I like it. Now, get to the actual details of this place, which is where all of these resources come in. I'm going to let some vines just grow and see what that looks like. So let's just start from the bottom. Let's let that grow and see what it looks like. That might be all I have to do to make the sides of the mountains look interesting. There's no way of stopping it growing, unfortunately. I don't know how far they even grow. We're taking a step into my creative experimentation world to just take a peek at the model of what I'm going for, because what all the work I'm about to do is very tedious and repetitive. So I'll just show you the general vibe of what we're going for. This is the model that I started on when thinking about what I was making for the jungle. And so the general idea is going to be that the waterfall we have came from a lake, which is a bunch of flat land that slowly curves. In this model, I went down, but I'm probably going to go up in the actual survival world and have a bunch of jungle trees spread out around there. Eventually, I'm going to make custom trees and experiment with that, but that is far in the future. I am not good enough at this time to even attempt that. But this is the general idea of what I'm going to be going for. And now I'm just going to hop into the survival world and lay down a base for the ground in the lake. It's going to be very tedious, and I'm not going to do that on camera because of how tedious it is. I'm just going to come back when it's done. And here we are. We've done a lot of work. Almost fell. I have been working very hard, destroying an entire plains biome to get all the dirt to do this. Like I said, it's going to be going up and eventually plateauing and being flat. This is the scale I'm working at. I realized after placing all of this that it won't matter, because this is going to be hollow and that's going to be unnecessary. So that's fun. A bunch of dirt wasted that I'm not going to get back because of how hard it would be to even try to get it back. But here's the idea. I might make this a little base. Might poke a hole in one of the walls so it's not a complete waste, potentially. So this is going to keep going up a little and then plateau. And it will connect over here when this side connects to the ground, like the other side is, and it's no longer just a complete facade and more mountainous all the way around. This will also continue and extend up to meet this flatland. And hopefully look good. This is kind of the big idea from this side. It's going to have this general idea. It's not going to be sloping up each segment because it's going to be at its highest by the time it's down there. So just a vague idea. And this is obviously, I'm going to texture this a little more, give it some depth at some point. I feel like I keep saying that throughout this episode. At some point, I'm going to do this. At some point, I'm going to do that, etc. But yeah, this is going to keep going up just a little bit more. I might keep it at this height, but it might go up a little further. It's going to have some ice and a little river slash waterfall that just trickles down into this section, giving the impression that we've gone high enough that it's cool, and or that at some point this was an iceberg that's melted, giving us the waterfall that we have down there, I think. But I'm not sure in this version if you can silk touch snow and or ice, so I'm gonna have to test that before I commit to doing this. Eventually that's gonna be what happens, but right now, if I can't silk touch snow and ice, then it can't happen right now. But that's the general idea. And some trees will be dotted around here. I don't know what I'm going to do for the trees. Right now, I'm thinking just putting down saplings and letting them grow. I will also, when I have a silk touch shovel, get some grass to come up here and all around the mountain. It looks so much better when it's grass as opposed to dirt. Like in that segment there, that's part of the mountain. You can't tell from here because it blends pretty well with the surroundings, but it looks good from below. Also, these vines that we tested out over here, they look iffy. They need to be used more sparingly. I have used them to give myself a easy way to get up and down without using the water. So that is a good use of the vines. But otherwise, they don't look too good, especially clumped up. I see you. I'm gonna go this way. They look okay, but I need to use them more sparingly. Get rid of some over here and dot them more randomly, less clumped up. Maybe just put them by where the water is. That could be interesting. Give the impression that they've grown because of the water. But yeah. And I was gonna put a bunch of leaves around it, around on the mountain, but I don't know if that would look good. I, at least, am not skilled enough to make that look good. I don't think. So that's probably something for a later date if it ever happens. But I'm really liking it as it stands right now. I did not expect it to go this well. This whole project was kind of putting myself out on a limb because I had to do something for 1.2 and I knew jungles were added. So I was like, that's really the only thing I can do. This update didn't really have much more to offer than, oh, we'll mess with jungles. But it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I'm not done with it as of now. I'm in between this episode and next. I will work on cleaning this up, finishing the slope of this mountain, connecting this bit to that bit, adding trees, and I don't have anything with silk touch on it at this moment, so I will have to go. I can go to the blaze farm, or I can make spider farms because we have 3 next to each other. But that's a lot to deal with. That might be next episode, dealing with spider farms. But I don't really want to deal with spiders, so I might just stick with the blaze farm. It's probably slower since there are 3 spider spawners, but it's still, I don't like spiders, so I'll probably avoid them. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish this off, flatten it, get it to the end over there, and add all the decorations and stuff to make it look nicer. I'll do that in between episodes, and I'm considering this challenge complete, and we'll move on to 1.3. Obviously, there's more that can be done here, and as we get more and more versions with more and more blocks to add to this, I will be adding to this. It is not done, but as of 1.2, it is. We're calling it. Once this is flattened and we have a little river going into here, we're calling it for now. There's a lot more that will be done with this when we get new blocks and a bunch of different stuff that comes in later versions. I don't even know what all that is, but I'm sure there's a lot more that can be done with this. And I'm excited for when that's possible. But for now, it is done. See you in 1.3.